Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
This is Concerts That Made Us. I'm your host Brian, and as always, rate and review us on iTunes and find us and follow us on social media. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hey Bam Bam, you're very welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me on. I love the name, the Concerts That Made Us. Really tweaked my heart because I really enjoyed the Netflix show, The Toys That Made Us, the movies that made us, right? So as soon as I saw your name, I'm like, right, I'll be on this one.
Yeah. Funny story, actually. I hadn't seen those shows when I came up with the idea for the podcast, would you believe?
That's funny. Well, you would figure, you think back to what made you, like, toys and G.I. Joes and music and the great VHS movies of our time, and you'd figure that's what made me. So let me call me that.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ireland.
Oh,
yourself?
Fucking right. Canada.
Ah.
The north. I'm north of the city, but out of Toronto.
Ah. How's the weather over there this time of year?
It's great right now.
Really?
Yep. It's really green. It's only going to be like that for like 2 more months. Short-lived.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ireland as well. Although I'm sure you probably get better weather.
Well, not as green. Rain's more over there. I want to come to Ireland, man. The Leprechaun was my favorite movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one, all right.
And the Boondock Saints.
I actually haven't seen it, would you believe? It's on my list. I haven't got to it yet.
Watch it, man. Watch it. It's great. It's so good. If that was filmed in Toronto, a lot of that.
Really?
Yep.
Do you remember actually very few people that I mentioned this to? You know your man Patrick Flannery, or Sean Patrick Flannery, that's in the Boondock Saints?
Yeah.
Do you remember in the mid-90s he done a Young Indiana Jones TV show?
I didn't know that. I remember that TV show, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's it was one of my favorite TV shows as a kid. I may try revisit it.
We got one more Indiana Jones coming with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
I can't wait. I love the fourth one. I loved it. A lot of people didn't like it, but I did.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people said that the ending was stupid because it was all about aliens. And I'm sitting there like, so let me ask you this. You like the story of part 1, 2, and 3? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, part 1 was all biblical and shit about Jesus, like the Bible and spirits. Part 2, I believe, was the one with all the fucking voodoo and shit. What was it? What was part 3 about again? Oh, the cup. Was it the cup, the Jesus cup?
Yes.
And you're telling me that aliens at the end is way more far-fetched than all 3 of those. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm just trying to. I really don't care about your train of thought. That's fucked up.
It's kind of almost like a natural progression as well. You start off with Christ and you end up with aliens.
Yeah, or aliens were at the time of Christ too. Could have been. Who knows? A lot of theories out there.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. So do you want to tell the listeners a bit about your podcast?
Yeah, a lot of people mess up my name. They think it's just General Public. I go with that here and there, but the full name is General Public Podcast Randomness with Bam Bam, which is me. I'm Bam Bam.
Right.
And I like to call myself Bam Bam because I'm fucked. Look at me. I'm wearing a Twisted Sister t-shirt. I did it for you. I'm wearing a fur coat from the 70s. It's great, right?
It is actually.
I just like to be random as fuck.
It's a great get up. I love the coat, especially with the t-shirt. It goes very well.
I'd never wear it in public. ever.
That was my next question.
I don't know. It is a real animal. I just don't know which one it is. There's no tag on it. I really don't know. It's kind of gray, black stripes, a white stripe, something. Maybe it's a raccoon. I love raccoons. I hope not. But anyways, there's nothing I can do about it. It's real fur, and I'm not going to wear it in public because I don't need that nonsense, especially in 2021. I'll wear it at home and appreciate it. It came from a family member, so it's authentic, right? It's not like I went out and bought the fucking thing during time. This came from a time when this was okay. So, if someone throws paint on it, then I'm going to make their face bloody red.
Well, to a rational thinking person, that would be totally fine. That it came from a time when it was okay. You didn't purchase it, but there's not many rational thinking people around nowadays.
No, I haven't really met these people. I just read about them online. Yeah, I catch the odd person who's got the odd ideologies, and I kind of put them in their spot a little bit, as you can say. Like I had this one guy talk to at the gas station. He works there, and he's wearing his mask underneath his nose.
Right.
And yeah, and I'm like, the point is to wear it over your nose, right? It's like a condom. You don't just put it on the tip. You roll it all the way down. And he goes, yeah, but I heard that there's chemicals in the mask, and if you breathe them in too often, it's not good for you. And I'm like, yeah, I read that too. I'm like, did you read the headline, or did you read the whole article? And he goes, just the headline. And I go, so you didn't read the rest of the article when it explained that there's certain products. If you look at the ingredients on the mask, it explained in the article what the ingredients were, which is on the cheaper medical masks. It's not on all of them. It's on only like a minor percentage, but it's on the box. And if it's on the box, then don't buy that. Probably from the dollar store or some stupid shit.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, I didn't know that. And he puts the mask on. And I'm like, see, I fucking hate guys like you. You know what I call you? And he goes, what? I'm like, you're a headliner. I'm like, you read 3 fucking lines and make full on judgment from that. I'm like, if it interested you enough to the point where you're still wearing the mask, which technically you're breathing it through your fucking mouth. So there's no point if it's not on your nose, but it's over your mouth, you're still breathing it in. Right. I'm like, if it piqued your interest enough, that headline, why didn't you just go on and read the rest of it and actually get the details?
Yeah.
Instead of making judgment from 3 fucking lines, which is the problem with everyone today.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The majority, that's all they do. They see the headline and run with it.
The headliners, that's what I call them. There's a band called the Headliners. I
was thinking that, all right.
Yeah.
So where's the best place for people to find your podcast?
Well, you got to go. I will send you my Instagram if you want to post that into your description.
Yeah, of course.
If you go to my description on my Instagram, there's something called a link tree, and that will show you everything. It'll show you everything. I'm on YouTube, Twitter. I barely use Twitter. Don't get much out of that. I don't know if I'm going to continue it. I just like reading the articles there or the headlines. The headlines, I call headlines. It's kind of funny. A TikTok I have fun with. YouTube I'm picking up on, and that's about it. And then there's podcast platforms, mainly on Pocket Casts, Spotify. You can find me on iTunes, iHeartRadio. But you have to put my full name when you search me. General Public Podcast. Usually when you write Randomness, it'll show up. If not, you got to put General Public Podcast, Randomness with Bam Bam.
Right.
Find me.
I think I had that issue when we met first. All right, I had to enter an episode title, I think, to find your podcast.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't really think that through when I made a name. So too late.
Oh, sure. There could be worse things that could happen.
And there was already a General Public Podcast. That's why I added the Randomness with Bam Bam.
Ah, right.
They've been inactive since 2017, but I didn't want the hassle just in case.
Yeah.
One day I get an email. It's like, hey, that was our name. It's like, well, no, my name's Randomness with Bam Bam. Yours is just General Public. Piss off. You fucking wank. You mushu wank.
The name Bam Bam, where does that come from? Does it have anything to do with Bam from Jackass or Bam Bam from the Flintstones?
Both.
Right.
Just both, man. It came from both. I love Bam Margera. I love the Flintstones. Actually, I'm gonna be posting. I got a new logo. I'm not telling you what it is. I'm really excited for it because it's like I took all the elements of what my podcast is and who I am, and I just smashed it into this fucking logo.
Oh, cool. When's that dropping?
I'll probably do it tonight or tomorrow. I literally just got my last revision of it an hour ago.
Oh, cool. I can't wait to see it. By the time the listeners are hearing this, of course, it'll be up, so it'll be the first thing they see when they search for you.
Yeah. Actually, there was one thing that I should have got her to fix that, actually. Anyways, okay, the idea is there. But there's this explosion behind me, like a mushroom cloud. Behind, like, it's me. It's a character of me, and there's this mushroom cloud explosion. And I asked her to make it, like, the bottom part look like the explosion, but the top to make it look more like a real mushroom. That part she didn't catch, I guess. I just realized that now. Fuck. But it is a mushroom cloud, so the idea of the mushroom is there, so I'll leave it for now.
Yeah. Sounds pretty cool.
I talk a lot about mushrooms on my podcast too, psychedelics.
I've noticed that, all right, in the few episodes I've listened to. Or even on your Instagram. It's easy to pick up on.
Yeah, it is.
I have a feeling we might be hearing some stories to do with psychedelics mixed with concerts coming towards us.
Actually, I got a podcast coming up where I actually did take mushrooms.
During the podcast?
Yep. And at the start of the podcast, like I talked for about 10, 15 minutes, and then 15 minutes in, I started saying I got something on me. And I can't remember. It was a while ago. I think I said what it was. And I go, here, we're going to play a game for anyone who's listening. Try and guess when it kicks in. And I just fucking, yeah. So it was a pretty long podcast, but it's funny. It kicks in within like 20 or so minutes after that.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do more like that. It was a lot of fun.
You should. And it makes you unique as well. I can't imagine there's many podcasts out there doing that.
I haven't heard one yet.
No, me neither.
Fuck, now everyone's going to get that idea. You're going to start seeing them more often. Great. It's okay.
Oh, man.
1,000 people have the same idea, and usually only one person does.
Yeah.
Except for now.
We better move on to the music, I guess.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
How would you describe your musical tastes?
Now? Well, I'm all over the place. It just, like, to me, music isn't bad music if it makes you feel something.
Yeah.
I listen to everything, but lately, as I get older, I'm starting to get back to my roots. So alternative, shock rock, the 90s, anything 90s, set the 70s. Actually, my favorite song of all time is Johnny Be Good by Buck Cherry.
Really?
Or Chuck Berry, I mean. Yeah. Buck Cherry. Chuck Berry, not Buck Cherry. Buck Cherry's a current band. Chuck Berry. Yeah, that's my favorite song, man.
Oh, I'm surprised at that now. It's not something you hear very regularly nowadays.
I guess it has to do with a lot. Maybe I grew up with my parents, a lot of Elvis. What are they called? The Beach Boys, Monkeys, all kinds of that stuff. Plus, one of my favorite movies is Back to the Future. Marty McFly.
Oh, man.
Nails it. Remember that?
Oh,
at the end?
I absolutely love that
with
film.
The guitar solo. Yeah, and the Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing is that I think it was like back in 2016, 15, like I was more on the modern shit, like EDM. There's this EDM group called Cruella I was all over. And I really liked the club stuff. But then 2016, 15, music got real shit. Yeah. Not just one genre, everything just got real shit. And it's been like that since. It's like by springtime, I always create an album at the start of the year. So if it's 2001, in February, I open up a 2001 album in my iTunes and I start going Shazamming shit, trying to hear things on the radio, YouTube. I'm always searching for new music for that playlist for the year, right? Or for the summer coming up. I've been struggling since 2016, 17.
Jesus.
Holy shit. And I love country music. And the country sucks right now. It's getting better, actually. It's picking up.
Yeah.
Because Megan Patrick, she's Canadian. She's my new favorite country artist.
Oh, I haven't heard of her yet.
Oh, check her out, man. She's wild. She's my new Shania Twain.
Oh, man, Shania Twain. I've actually seen her in concert myself.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I missed her the last time. That's one thing I'd like to talk about later is concerts if you want for a little. But you go on with what you want to go with.
I don't know. Us talking about concerts on this podcast, that'd be a bit strange, wouldn't it?
Touche. Well, I don't know if you want to start with that now or later.
Oh,
it's your call.
We'll get to it.
All right. Don't worry. I got full of notes. Bam Bam comes prepared.
That's what I like to see. A guest who comes prepared. We'll ease gently into it. The very first concert experience you had.
Edgefest, 1997. So when I went to Edgefest, and there's something that happened at Edgefest that doesn't happen anymore, and this kind of bothers me. But we'll start with this one. Let's go down the lineup. So Edgefest 1998 was my first real concert. We got the Tea Party, Green Day, Foo Fighters, Sloan, Econoline Crush, Holly Nartland. I remember her. Anyways, Moist, Biff Naked. I'll just name them the main ones. Creed, Matthew Goodman, the Killjoys, Sandbox, Biff Naked. Those are the main ones.
Quite a lineup.
That was a great lineup. Like I remember Green Day too. That was back in the day when Green Day used to get the crowd to lift up mud and dirt from the ground and throw it at them on stage while they were performing.
Right.
Yeah, you're never gonna get shit like that anymore, man, because of lawsuits and people today, they suck. I remember, I forget who it was. Was it Billie Eilish? It was either Billie Eilish. Let's go with Billie Eilish. I think it was her, but she burned a drum set, and people online were like, "Oh my god, what the hell is she doing? She's trying to copy like the '90s." Like, and she was like, "I did it because I never did that before, and I thought it was the coolest thing when I saw it at a concert." And people like shit on her for it. Meanwhile, back in the '90s, this was happening all the time.
Yeah.
If you throw mud on a stage now, you're gonna get arrested.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it really has changed. Like
Edgefest. Yeah.
Like back in the '90s, like people would call you out if you didn't burn a drum set.
Exactly. You got to do something crazy. Like, you remember the way that Green Day, I even watched the performance of Green Day on YouTube from back then, from the 90s. Like the way they would, like how crazy they would go, man. They're fucking going nuts, kicking shit over, fucking throwing things everywhere, fucking losing their shit. No one does that anymore. And they dress so grungy, right? They were so authentic. People would crowd surf, mosh pits. Oh, here's my favorite part. This is what I hate about concerts today, but this is how it was back in the day. Didn't matter if you were rich, poor, mid-class, whatever. Everyone pays the same fucking price. First come, first serve. It was out, like Edgefest was out. It was a one-day party from like 10 in the morning till like 11 at night. There was 3 stages, and there's the main stage, mid stage, and then the indie stage, whatever. I'd go back and forth on the mid and the main stage. So everyone pays the same price. First come, first serve. So if you showed up earlier, then you're at the front of the line and you have a better chance of getting to the front of the main stage. You could stay there all day if you wanted, or watch whoever you wanted and leave. Or if you wanted, you could rush through that fucking crowd and hope someone's not going to knock you out and get as close as you possibly can. It was up to you if you had the ball. Or if you had more balls like me, you just fucking say, you go to the 2 biggest guys in front of you and say, "Hey, can you throw me up?" And they're like, "Yeah, man." They pick you up and throw you up, and you crowd you surf your way to the front.
Jeez.
And hope you don't get dropped on your fucking head.
Yeah.
Those were the days, man. It's not like that anymore.
No.
Concerts, it's like, you want to get up close, you either save up for it or have the money. But there's no way I'm spending, like, some concerts are like $500-700 for a floor.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, even if you're in the nosebleeds, it's like $80. As soon as you go like 2 rows over, it's like $120. I'm like, that's a huge jump.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not even that much of a better view. It's the way that they structured concerts now is just, it's absolute hogwash.
Without a doubt. And last year, the year before, there was over here, I want to say it was like Aerosmith or something on their farewell tour. And there was tickets there that were actually $3,000. Now, I think you got to meet and greet, but like $3,000 is a bit excessive for tickets.
Yeah, but if that's a meet and greet, then that's like backstage and everything, I guess. That's that. I would say, you know what, in a way, well, actually, this is how it's our fault. Us as a society and as fans, it's completely our fault. You know why?
Go on.
Because we downloaded.
Yeah.
We downloaded. As soon as we took on downloading and stopped buying the records, but it's really not our fault, to be honest, because a lot of bands or musicians stopped making like good albums that you could use in the 90s. You can buy an album and you could just love 7 songs, right? Now they don't even put out albums. They don't want to bother. It's all one hit wonder.
Yeah.
And if they do put out an album, you're lucky if you get a good song one song you really like and maybe another song kind of like you'll put on your playlist.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to put in the effort.
Yeah, I actually can't remember the last time I came across an album and I didn't skip a single song.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I think. It's because they got to make their money. The money used to get made from the album, right? And the single sales and whatever. And now it's completely shows and merch.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of. But it would be nice if they would, because here in Toronto, all the concerts are either at Budweiser stage, which is a hit or a miss. I don't mind the venue. It's just I don't the sound quality is just because it's in this little stadium, it echoes a lot.
Right. Or
they do it at the Scotia Arena, which is just massive. So the seats that I usually want to pay for, like they look like little ants, you know. Unless, yeah. I just wish some of these artists would do a summer field thing again. Like take it out to the north town north of me, like 40 minutes an hour away, and do like what Edgefest used to do, where you do like a little festival, man, get a bunch of performers, okay, and everyone pays the same price, whatever. Maybe you have like little VIP sections somewhere where you make your extra money, and have all the little tiki huts everywhere that sold all kinds of cool little things, You had all of your artists there that would sell like all kinds of crazy artwork or jewelry and stuff like that. It was awesome.
Really make an experience out of it.
Yeah, it was like a little village market on the backside of the lot.
They're more memorable when they're like that. And that to me is a concert, instead of going into an arena and you're just there for the band, couple of hours and you're in and out,
It's absolute hogwash. The only festival around here, well, there's a few of them. There was not in the last couple of years, but before this whole COVID shit, there was the main festivals were the EDM festivals, like Digital Dreams and stuff like that, or the country festivals. Yeah, those ones are big.
Really?
They have those. There's one. The main one is called Boots and Hearts. It's a 3-day festival. It's about $300 something a ticket, and you can camp out with your tent and everything, or you can pay more money. You can bring an RV. Now that's more like Edgefest style. That's like more of the 90s style, right? Because country is still fucking huge around here.
Yeah.
You get all the big names, man. Carrie Underwood, Jason Aldean, Lupe, they all come.
Jeez, that's such a foreign thought to me over here, because we don't have big country festivals. Realistically, if we have a festival, it's a pop music festival, and there might be a rock band thrown in, but an entire country festival now, I actually couldn't imagine it. Country music is kind of like, there is a country music scene, but it's very underground over here. And it's a weird mix. It's like a lot of Irish singers who the majority of them are very old-fashioned stuff your granny would listen to. But the newer generation coming up are very kind of Americanized and kind of outlaw country, inspired by Willie Nelson, guys like that,
That's not bad. There's only a handful of country artists I listen to now. Because the thing about country artists, like let's take Miranda Lambert, for example. She had back in 2013 or 14, it was this song called Shotgun and Lead.
Right.
And the whole song was about her waiting for her ex, husband or boyfriend. He just got out of jail, and she's smoking a cigarette and waiting by the door with a shotgun. She's gonna pump him full of lead when he comes home. That's why shotgun and lead. Basically in the song is her waiting because he beat her, and that's why he was in jail. And he got out on bail, and he's coming back home, and she's gonna shoot him for that.
Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? Now that's a fucking country song.
Yeah.
Not this butterflies beer out in the sun in the field. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Come on. Like country it's supposed to be a story, a good story.
Yeah, exactly.
But all this country radio shit now is garbage.
I seen a meme actually yesterday. You just remind me of it. It was about, electric cars and self-driving cars. It said, if Elon Musk has his way, country musicians are going to be singing about their truck leaving them next.
Yeah, especially with that new F-150. Holy shit. I mean, the main thing with country people and country music is like hard revving engines.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to go away soon.
That's for sure. That's for sure. It really is. It'll be different then. I couldn't imagine myself driving an electric car. You need to feel the roar of the engine and the sound of the engine.
Yeah, I had an accident last year or a year and a half ago, and they gave me a Ford Focus, and it was electric.
Oh man.
I drove it down the street. I called them back, said, "What else you got?" And they're like, "Why am I'm not driving this shit for 2 weeks." I'm like, don't get me wrong, it felt clunky and heavy. It felt heavy. But I was speeding and didn't realize it because I couldn't feel it. Like I didn't hear anything. It has that cell sound. It's like,
yeah.
I ended up taking it back within 25 minutes and traded it in for a Volkswagen Jetta Turbo. Now that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's a bit of an upgrade.
Yeah, because like in the stupid Focus, if I went from like 40 to like 80, I didn't even realize it. But if I went in the Jetta Turbo, if I went 40 to 80, I knew I was going 80 because I could feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. We'll bookend it. So what was the last concert you were at?
Last concert I went to was Korn.
Right. Okay. When was this?
Yeah, no. It was at Alice in Chains. Yeah, Alice in Chains and Korn.
Nice. I'd say that was a good gig.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was fucking amazing. And the good part about this concert is because I've seen Korn about 6 or 7 times since the late 90s.
Oh man.
Yeah, a lot because my mom's friend, like when I was younger, my mom's friend worked for Sony Entertainment. And so she used to get a bunch of promo tickets. And she's like, "Hey, you want to go see Korn?" I was a huge fan ever since like 95, 96, right? The album before Follow the Leader. What was that one with Twist and all that?
Oh.
It had the black cover with the little child on the front.
Oh, I know the one you're talking of. I can't think of the name of it now.
Oh, it's called Life is Peachy. Yeah, that's one of their best albums, man. If anyone hasn't heard it, it's got Twist, Chi, Lost, all these great songs. And that was when John Davis was fucking just like psychotic.
Yeah.
So, well, there's also the one with Blind that was before that. Like, what was that called again? I don't know why it doesn't show me in chronological order. Well, anyways, the album with Blind. So it was before COVID, so 2019 in the fall. At Budweiser stage. It was fucking awesome because the year before that, I went to go see Korn because my buddy got me tickets, right, to go see Korn. So it was literally a year back to back seeing Korn. The year before, I was just like, I was disappointed because John Davis wasn't his usual self, and I was sitting there watching. He didn't have the energy that he used to have on stage, and the band was great. The sound quality in the 2018 concert was like, and something was wrong with John Davis. And then in 2019, John Davis was fucking great. He was just like he was in the early 2000s, man. They opened up with Blind, right? And then also he's like, "Are you?" And then the whole crowd says it with him.
Yeah.
And as soon as the fucking drum and the bass drop, you see the whole crowd go boom, and the whole fucking Budweiser stage was just like rumbling. It was fucking crazy.
Man.
Actually, I got that video on my Instagram. I'll send you the clip of that. I got that. It's fucking nuts. You could feel it in the video. It's just, "Are you ready?"
Oh man, that must have been epic.
Oh my God. It was just so relieving that he still had it in him, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was exciting. I lost my voice. I got stupid hammered. Stupid. I hit on like every fucking MILF I could find. Yeah. I met this nurse at that last one. I'm still friends with her today. We never dated. So we're still friends. But where I was getting at with that is that I was wondering what the fuck, how did John Davis all of a sudden have this energy? Like, what was wrong with him last year? So I went and looked it up. And prior to the 2018 concert, that's when his wife died, right? So I was like, oh, he at that time he wasn't himself.
Yeah.
He was still going off to doing what he had to do, but he just wasn't there. And then I guess the year after kind of found himself and he was back at it. He still got it. Because at first when I saw that the 2018 when he wasn't doing so well, I was like, oh man, is this what I have to look forward to? Is like seeing like bands from back in the day getting old and like sucking. Like he didn't suck, but he just wasn't who he was. But nope, he is. John Davis still got it. Cheers.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. I love that though, because moments like that, you're like, fuck yes, this is exactly why I came to this concert.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I didn't let that get to me the year before.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, he's done. And just, and I got tickets the year after he came. They were cheap. And me and my buddy are like, you want to go again? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, all right, fuck, let's go. It's a night out. And it was so worth it. So worth it. Thank you, John Davis. Oh, and that was at the time when they got back. What the fuck was his name again? With the dreads. Oh, Brian Welch.
Oh man.
That was when they got him back.
Jeez. No wonder they were under A game.
Yeah, so it was other than the original drummer, he's gone, like for sure. But John Welch, yeah, David Silvera, he's completely gone since 2006. But John Welch came back. That was fucking cool.
Oh. Do you remember the album he did actually for Queen of the Damned, the soundtrack to it? He basically done nearly all the songs on it.
John Welch?
No,
not John Welch.
John
Brian
Davis.
Welch. Sorry, Brian. Oh, sorry, no, not John Welch. That was that's some guy I used to work for. Brian Welch. Yeah, Brian Welch. Oops.
Oh, shout out to your old boss.
yeah, he'll never hear it. It's like 600 million podcasts out there.
Yeah.
I don't work for him anymore. Who gives a fuck? Shout out to you, Mr. John Welch. Woohoo! You sick bastard.
Oh man.
Now you know why they call me Bam Bam? Anyone listening, can you guess?
Oh. Oh man.
So you're saying John Davis did what?
Yes. He did the soundtrack for a movie called Queen of the Damned. It was like 2006, 2007. It was the sequel to Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Queen of the Dam. I think I have seen this movie. I recognize the cover, that's for sure.
Yeah, the movie's all right. The soundtrack is excellent. You definitely have to look it up.
I gotta check it out. Is that Aaliyah? It is.
Yeah. It was actually, I think it was her last movie before she died.
Yeah, she died not too long ago. Oh, Marilyn Manson's on that track.
Yeah.
What? Papa Roach, Deftones? Woo!
Yeah. I think David Draymond is on a few of them as well.
Oh, I'm definitely checking this out, man. There was actually one Marilyn Manson album that I missed. It was after Mechanical Animals. That was in high school when I kind of switched over like hip hop, drum and bass music and stuff. So I kind of stopped listening to all like rock.
Yeah.
And so I was at my buddy's house like earlier in the summer, and I was on his patio and we were having a beer, and he's playing Slut Garden.
Right.
You ever heard Slut Garden?
Yeah.
And I'm listening and I'm like, this is Manson. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, is this new? This sounds like his old shit. And he starts laughing, but he's like, no, it's not new. And I'm like, when did this come out? And he said, fuck, I don't know the album. Hold on, Slut. That was on what the fuck album was that? It's not saying. But the Golden Age of Grotesque. So that was the one right after Mechanical Animals. Now I missed that album. I was like, what the fuck? So I went and pulled up this album, and I'm like, yes, new Marilyn Manson music, Because like the shit he's putting out today, his last album was just like a royal piece of shit. I'm sorry. I'm a super Marilyn. I'm gonna get a Marilyn Manson fan. I'm a super fan.
Really?
Or no, I'm not gonna get a Marilyn Manson fan. I'm gonna get a Marilyn Manson tattoo eventually. Oh, see how excited I got. Fumbled my words. So basically I was always saying how I missed Marilyn Manson's old style, his old music from Portrait of American Family, I bought the CD for Smells Like Children just to have a physical copy again, right?
Yeah.
And then Antichrist Superstar, Mechanical Animals, and he did a lot of good songs actually throughout the years up until recently. And then since I missed that album, it was like getting a classic Manson album like new again, like now.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get this from him now, but I feel like I did because I missed it, and I'm like, what?
I completely understand.
So
I used to love him when I was growing up. Still listen to him now. The Golden Age of Grotesque, was that the one with Mob Scene on it? And was it Long Hard Road Out of Hell?
I don't know if that's Long Hard Road Out of Hell was on any album. That was on the remember the late 90s Spawn movie?
Yeah.
It was on the soundtrack. I don't think it was on any of his albums.
Could have been the greatest hits or something.
That movie came up before Mechanical Animals and around the time of Antichrist Superstars. So I know it wasn't on any of those albums.
Right.
Unless he did a remix later and threw it on.
The Golden Age of Grotesque was actually my first introduction to Manson. Would you believe?
How old are you?
I'm 33.
Oh, I'm 36. Okay. Interesting.
He'd been like, I'd heard the name. I knew one or two guys that listened to him, but he was always kind of, in the peripheral. But then what was it? It was actually a movie that introduced me to him. It was House on Haunted Hill. And at the very last scene, Sweet Dreams starts playing. And I was like, fuck me, I need to hear more. Next day, I rushed out, bought his album. The first one I put my hand on, and it did not disappoint.
Smells Like Children? That was the first one you got with a Sweet Dream?
No, that wasn't on.
Oh, Age of...
Yeah, it was...
No, Sweet Dreams was on Smells Like Children from 95.
It must have been one after it then that was like a compilation of his greatest hits.
Okay, if it was greatest hits, then for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sweet Dreams was back in 95. I started listening to him in 96. That was the first album I got. So, but I understand why Sweet Dreams, that was the one that got me too, right? And then I had this buddy, Mikey, and he's the one that got me into it because he liked Manson. He's like, oh, you like that? He's like, man, you got to check out this album and this album. So I ended up buying Smells Like Children. Then I bought Antichrist Superstar because of Beautiful People. That fucking album. Now that album, that's an album. Almost every single song, 85% of that album, I love. And the rest of it, I still like. Actually, I like the whole album, every single song.
Back to what I was saying, it's one of them albums you wouldn't skip.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. And then I went and bought the fucking Portrait of an American Family. That was fucking awesome. Yeah. Oh man, he does not sound like that anymore. If you want like real raw fucking just psycho rock, man, go get Portrait of an American Family. But the thing about Sweet Dreams is I did this one time. I was with this girl, and she's asking me why I like Marilyn Manson so much. And I was like, "You ever heard Sweet Dreams?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, no, but have you heard it? Like, have you actually paid attention? And she goes, "Well, it's a good song." And I'm like, "Okay, let me do something." Okay, I'm like, listen. For one, the guitar is just so unique. You're never gonna hear anything like that again. Okay, you hear it, you heard it. You know. And the guy was fucking genius. I'm like, pay attention to how quickly he can change the level of his voice. No one, I promise you, no one today that you listen to does this at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, sweet dreams are made of peace. And then he goes, starts screaming and shit.
Yeah.
And then he gets into his grungy where he's like, travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody look at the sun. And then he goes off screaming and shit, right? But if you just sit there and just listen to the levels, it is fucking unreal what he can do with his voice in a split second.
Yeah. Actually, that's a very good point. I've obviously noticed it before, but I feel like I've never taken it in that he was actually doing that and achieving that with his voice.
Well, especially in Sweet Dreams, he's got to have probably, I think, like 6 or maybe 8 different levels of voice.
Yeah.
And they all change drastically, like one after the other, right? it's insane. Like, he can't do it anymore. His range is gone.
Yeah.
It's done. All the cocaine, cigarettes, fucking who knows what else he put down there. But it's not the only one, the only song. He's pretty good at doing that in the Portrait of American Family. The Dope Show, he was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Mechanical Animals, Coma White.
What is that song? There's one
a lot of songs
song
on Antichrist Superstar. He did the hell out of that shit.
There's one song when I'm listening to Manson I have to listen to. I can't think of the name of it now, but it's like I went to find God and I was looking at me. Does it ring a bell?
Went to find God and I was looking at. Yes, it does. That's Antichrist Superstar.
I'd nearly go as far as to say it's my favorite Manson song. Reflecting
God.
Yes.
Antichrist Superstar.
Yes. The guitar in the middle of that, it gets quiet and then it breaks, and the whole song, it's amazing.
Oh yeah. I went to God just to see, and he was looking at me, saw heaven and hell were lies. When I'm God, everyone dies.
Yeah.
And he does that full on like screaming, and then the next chorus, he's like, bah, bah,
yeah.
bah, bah, he goes off. Yeah, I love that song. Have you ever heard? I stopped listening to him in high school, and then in college. So I stopped listening to him around 2000, let's say 1 or so. And I started listening to him in 2006, and they're 96. So it was a good amount of time. And then I started listening to him again in college because these girls that I was hanging out with played a song that came out at the time. And I was like, who the fuck? I'm like, it sounds like Manson. Like, it is Manson. And I was like, what? And the song is called Putting Holes in Happiness. You want to hear one of the greatest solos from Manson songs you've ever heard? That's it right there.
I actually haven't heard that one. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. That's the song right there, Putting Holes in Happiness. That song got me back on the Marilyn Manson train. And ever since then, I've been a fan again, a serious fan.
Oh, man. You know, I've been waiting since I started this podcast for an opportunity to talk about Manson. I didn't think it was ever going to come.
You got the right guy.
Yeah. Don't disappoint me now with my next question. Have you seen him live?
Good question. Bam, bam. Yes, I saw him in his prime when I was 12 years old back in 1997.
Oh, man.
Yep.
You see, I've never seen him live. I don't know if he even ever came to Ireland. I don't think he has. Maybe he has once.
He did Europe. He does Europe still.
Yeah, a lot of bands, though, that when they do Europe, they don't come to Ireland. They'll go to England, they won't come to Ireland. It's something to do with it costs a shit ton extra to fly their stuff into Ireland because it's an island. But
you couldn't have flown over to England?
I was probably way too young.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you missed the golden ages, man. The golden age of grotesque. You missed that.
So come on.
When I say grotesque,
the
shit he did back then, you cannot do today. No chance in hell. I saw him cut himself.
Fuck.
Just completely he smashed a beer bottle over his fucking head.
Jeez.
And tear his ribs right open. He did the whole Antichrist Superstar speech where, you know, he has the podium where he wears the black suit with the black tie and the red shirt, and he stands on the podium with the Antichrist, pretends like he's the president. And I watched him rip the Bible apart. This was the best part. See, I ended up, I was with my bro, and we wiggled right to the front of the stage because at that time I was a super fan. I'm like, I gotta be up front, right? And it was at this place called Arrow Hall. It was in an airport hangar, and it was really cool. Like, and the crowd was awesome, just complete goths everywhere, just freaks. I loved it. And that was back when I was a goth too, man. I considered myself a freak, right? That's what I used to call myself, a freak. I remember, yeah. Not just a goth. Everyone's like, why you look like that? I'm like, because I'm a freak. Black nail polish, pantyhose on my arm, you know, spike collars, spike wristbands.
Jeez.
So I was hardcore. I had military boots that were halfway up my fucking, almost up to my knees and shit. Like, it was, it was crazy. Like chains. It was the 90s, man. It was the 90s. So I was at the front, and that was the first concert. It was the only concert where I stayed at the front the whole time. Other concerts, I would go to the front, but it got too fucking wild. And I was like, I was a small guy, and I couldn't take it. So I'd have to go back a little bit off to the side or a little back to just watch.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'd still do mosh pits and crowd surf. But Manson, fuck the mosh pit, fuck the crowd surf. I got behind this cute little goth chick. And I was like, you okay if I'm here? And I grabbed onto the bar so no one could push me out of the way. And I stayed there the whole fucking thing. Oh my God, it was wild.
I wouldn't blame you.
It was a good thing I got to the front, because he used to do this. He used to have a part in his performance where he would fucking ram the fucking mic on his chest. I forget what song it was. And he'd be like, bah, 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 bah. And he'd be like, listen here, motherfuckers. And he'd put his arms out and go, spit on me. And everyone would just, I look up and all you see is just fucking like missiles of spit. I fucking duck down. I'm like, holy shit. And he's sitting there and you see spit going all over his chest, all over Twiggy and fucking the other bandmates fucking.
Oh man.
They're getting spit in the eyes and spit in the mouth, and they're still playing their guitars and shit. Manson's rubbing the spit all over his chest and his face like it's fucking tongue. Like he didn't give a fuck. And he was even at that point, he had his ribs cut open. He was rubbing it all over his fucking blood and cut.
Jesus Christ.
And I remember and then as soon as the spitting was done from the crowd, I remember I was like, and I was like, and I spit on fucking, hold on, what was his name? It wasn't Twiggy. Twiggy was on the left side of the stage. Hold on.
John 5.
No, he came after. He was in the early 2000s. Hold on, I'll find. I remember his name. He had that hair. Oh, what the fuck was his name? He had the hair up to his chin. He was there from the start. Okay, I can't find his fucking name. He was there up until the start. He had hair up here, like up to his chin.
Right.
I tried to Google it, but I can't remember his name. Anyways, I ended up spitting on his face, and he didn't even flinch. Just kept playing. Just didn't give a fuck.
Oh.
And I was like, whoa. And on top of that, I don't remember. I think it was at the end of the show. The whole band completely trashed everything.
Really?
They brought out gasoline and they fucking burned almost the whole stage down. Yeah. Like,
oh man, that's what you call a gig.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck. It was amazing. It was fuck. I'll never forget that. And the best part is my mom bought me the tickets and my dad drove me to the show. And I was 12.
Oh man.
I was 12. You know how many buddies I have tell me that their parents wouldn't even let them have the CDs in the house, and they had to go to their buddies to listen to it. And up until like high school and their teens, and I'm fucking 12 getting driven by my pops over to the fucking show an hour away. Yeah. Rock on, brother. Rock on.
Jesus. That was obviously the only time you got to see him.
Well, I saw him back in 2015.
All right.
And it ain't the same. He's still good, but it ain't like that anymore. So if anyone's listening, actually, this is something. Here's a little homework for you. Yeah, so go on YouTube and type in Marilyn Manson Dead to the World VHS and watch any of that, anything. It's from 1998. Just watch any of it. And that's what I went through. That's what not went through, because it's not a bad thing, but that's what I got to experience. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm going to look at it now after this.
Look at that. You got to love it on the cover. It says restrictions apply to persons under 15 years of age.
And here you are, 12.
Look, adult themes, medium level course language. Fuck off. Under 15, eh?
Oh.
I was so there. Then again, look at this. I was 12 and I went to a show. No one stopped me. And it tells you, parental advisory under 15.
I've heard in recent years he turned into a bit of a diva, that he'd walk off stage if he wasn't feeling it, or he'd cancel at the last minute.
That actually happened to my buddy. Has a story where he told me, I don't know when it was, a few years ago, where he was touring with Rob Zombie, and at Rob Zombie was opening, they would flip. One night Manson would open, one night Rob Zombie would open. So Rob Zombie opened for him, and when it was Manson's turn to come on, someone came on stage and said, sorry, Marilyn Manson, he can't come on stage, something happened, whatever. And you have two options. You can either get a refund and leave right now, or you could stay and Rob Zombie will do another second half or whatever. So, and then he found out after Manson got too fucked up on drugs while Rob was performing, and he couldn't perform.
I remember hearing about that, or I hadn't heard why he had cancelled, but it makes sense.
Similar thing happened to me in 2016 or 17. He was doing this smaller club venue downtown Toronto, and it was a small club. Like if you're in the back, you got a great view. It's a decent sized club, right? And I bought tickets or I was about to buy tickets, and I was waiting, because if you wait like a week or two before, sometimes you can find cheaper tickets on StubHub or something.
Yeah.
And the show got canceled because the week before, you remember, I don't know if you ever read it in the news, but he did a performance where there was this massive like metal cross on his stage or something. And he went to climb it, and halfway up, the thing fell over and he broke his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't see him because he broke his fucking leg the week before, man.
Jesus. Oh, I would have been going nuts.
I was, but I still saw him in 2015. It was really good, but I wasn't that close. And you could tell he still got it at that time. Yeah, he still got it, but he moves a little fucked up now. Like
I'd imagine,
but the energy's still there. Yeah, he's done some fucking damage to his body. But that was pretty cool because he opened up for Smashing Pumpkins, so I finally got to see them.
Oh, they're another one I'd love to see.
Actually, if you can see them in concert, they still hold up in concert today.
Really?
Oh yeah, they still they nail it.
Oh man,
because they're not so much about the show like Manson, where it's all about the kind of like the carnival of the stage.
Yeah,
like they're more of the like performance and sound quality
about the music,
just the motions, the music. Yeah, right. So I was sitting there, I was like, oh, this is nice. Like he what's the singer's name again? I forget.
Billy Corgan.
Yeah, his voice, he still got it. I remember it was in 2015. Okay, 6 years ago. I don't know about today, but back then he had it. Like when he was singing "Bullet" with butterfly wings, man, it was still there. I was just like, fuck.
Oh, that's good to hear. Hopefully they'll announce a tour after COVID.
I hope so, but I think it's gonna happen again after COVID. I got Nitro Circus tickets. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't actually.
You gotta go Google Nitro Circus live trailer, and you can watch that. Basically, it's they're all extreme sports, freestyle, motocross stunt devils, and not just motocross. It's everything: BMX, scooters, skateboards, whatever fucking toys they could find do stunts on. They are just stunt devil circus freaks. They're amazing.
Jeez, that sounds like it'd be fun.
It will be. But I got tickets, so I think things are going to open up.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Anyway, before we leave Marilyn, I have to ask: do you think he's totally finished now with the revelations that came out at the end of last year?
Nope, not at all. He's not even in the news anymore. They came out with a bunch of allegations. I was all over this shit. His ex-wife, Rose McGowan, was with him for years and said he's never done anything like that. I forget who had the main allegations. There wasn't that many.
I was
a little worried.
I thought it was her that came out and said that she had bullied him, or he had bullied her for years and everything. No, it was the other wife, was it?
I don't know. I was reading an article. This all happened back in February when all these allegations came out. I don't know what her name was. Anyway, so there's the main girl. You remember her name?
Was it the one he was married to around the time of Mob Scene came out? She was a dancer. No?
It wasn't Dita Von Teese. No, it was some other one. Or was it? Okay, all I'm saying is it's the details a little foggy in my head. But these are just allegations, okay? And it is Marilyn Manson. Have you ever watched anything he's done? Like there was one girl saying that he made her, like he kind of mind fucked her and he was mentally abusing her. And I'm sitting here like, you do realize who you're dating, right? Like if his music or his music videos or any of his concert performances didn't red flag him from the start and you went off into his world and things happened, like I kind of don't feel for you. Actually, I don't feel for you at all because it's Marilyn fucking Manson. You're talking about a guy who would self-mutilate himself on stage. Probably gets a kink out of that shit. Like I can go on Pornhub and watch people mutilating themselves. They do this for fun, right? So maybe she got caught up, like, I don't know, maybe she was young, the one I'm talking about. She got caught up in the stardom. Oh, it's Marilyn Manson. But you're still a grown-ass person, right? You kind of, like, I don't know, people are going to shit on me saying, oh, you're an asshole for saying that he manipulated her and he emotionally abused her. Well, okay, this is true. But I mean, I went through a whole bunch of things and I got emotionally abused, but I never blamed the person, right? You just look back and it's like, okay, well, I saw the signs and I stayed. That was my fault. I think they're going at him a little too hard. I'm sure he did do things to girls. Like I said, if you watch that, it's kind of bad. It's on the video. There's this part in that VHS at the end. Even when I was a kid, he was doing something backstage with some girl, and I guess he was emotionally abusing her too. Yeah, you know what? I guess you could say he was, but he's been doing this a lot, and it's been documented.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say about it. All I'm saying it's Marilyn Manson. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, he's the type of character that all that sort of stuff would feed into his image. Really,
it would. Actually, here's a funny thing about it. I read his documentary, half of it, when I was younger in the 90s, and I lost it. And actually last year I picked it up again. I ordered it on Amazon or eBay or whatever the fuck. And I read it. And when the whole Me Too movement was happening, I was sitting there like, how in the fuck has he not come up in Me Too yet? If you go read his book, there's a chapter of things they would do. They would bring girls and guys backstage and have all these sex contraptions, and they would do things to them.
Fuck.
Yeah, they would tie them up and they would shove things in certain holes and pour things on them and degrade them and do all these fucked up things. And even then, after, I was like, how is he not? And then it happened way later, right? Like this is really late. Like Me Too was years ago, right?
Yeah.
But it's short lived. He's actually getting investigated by the FBI with a bunch of things. You know what? I'm not going to say. Let me take a few things back a little bit. I kind of got a little ahead of myself because I used to think about what I would say if I ever got in this conversation. Because I want to get a tattoo of Marilyn Manson, and if anyone's been like, oh my God, he's a terrible person, it's like, well, I'm getting, his real name is Brian Warner, so that's him as a person to whatever he did to people. The tattoo I got is my memories of his music and everything I went through in that sense. Yeah. Okay, so that's why I have a tattoo. That's all. That's it for me. As for him, if he did abuse girls, which I'm sure he did, and it's not a surprise. That's all I'm saying. This has been going on for a long time, and if you watch at the end of that VHS video and you see what he does backstage, or you read his biography there from the late 90s. I don't think he was a terrible person. I just think he's into things.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of girls probably knew what they were getting into and should have understood that he does have sexual desires that he might want to partake in with you. And I'm sure there's some of them that he, I don't know. Maybe it was a situation where because they dated him and he was just who he was, he just figured that they knew he was Marilyn Manson, and he didn't understand the fact that they weren't down for it. And it happened. And then, like, you ever heard the oldest story in the book from any guy you've ever met or any girl?
Go on.
That lost their virginity to some guy?
Go on. Which one is this?
I've heard so many times where, let's say in high school, for instance, where a girl would want to give up her virginity to a guy because she liked him, but the guy didn't want to date her. All of a sudden, he's an asshole. Oh my God, you took my virginity. Yeah. He took advantage of me. But it's like, okay, wait a minute, but you willingly gave it to him. But because he doesn't want to date you, right? Because that's what you thought. You thought because if you gave up your virginity, he would date you, but now he's not going to date you. It's the oldest wives' tale I've ever heard. It's been happening ever since who knows when. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure it's turned out wrong in many ways, but there's been many situations, right, where that's how it was. It's even been in teen dramas.
True. Changing the story after the fact.
Exactly. So no one knows. And it's hard with Marilyn Manson because he might say one thing and she's going to say another. maybe she wanted to get married and have kids, and he said, no, I don't want that. They broke up, and now this is her payback.
Yeah.
Because when honestly, when this first started, I'm sitting here, and every single day I kept in the morning or by lunch, I would type in Marilyn Manson news. And for maybe a week or two, there were allegations coming, but didn't go as far as I thought. It ended. The allegations stopped, I think, in February, early March.
Yeah.
And that's that. There's only a handful of allegations. I figured it was just going to just be this fucking crazy like Christmas list of allegations.
Yeah, once it started, it just kept going.
Yeah, like some of the actors, man, once it started, it just went for months. It was just never ending. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if it pops back up in the news. Will he be more like a Weinstein, or will he be more like Kevin Spacey?
I think it'll be more like a Kevin Spacey. Not enough like Weinstein was like, fuck, it was in the hundreds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Manson was like under 15, maybe under 10. And there was a lot of relationships where he was with certain women for a long time, and they said none of this ever occurred.
True.
He never treated me this way, or it. You know what he said? What was his text message? His text message was great. Or was it Twitter? So Marilyn Manson, when he first got by Rachel Wood's allegations, came back, I think a few days later, and he goes, obviously my art and my life have long been magnets for controversy, but these recent claims about me are horrible distortions of reality. My intimate relationships have always been entirely consensual with like-minded partners, regardless of how and why others are not choosing to misrepresent the past. That is the truth.
Right.
So, I mean, it's Marilyn Manson. He's been doing this for over 20 years. So when he says like-minded partners, I'm kind of believing that part.
Yeah, you'd imagine that that's the first box he ticks when he gets with someone, like, It's like, I'm into some freaky shit. You okay with that? Let's go.
Yeah.
I'd say he's into some crazy, crazy shit, though.
Well, you're not going to hear much about him right now because he is under the investigation of the FBI. So
yeah,
when you have that kind of a serious, label on you, they're not gonna say anything until they get their case together.
Yeah, exactly.
So time will tell. But regardless of the outcome of Marilyn Manson, if he did do some really fucked up things, I'm not sorry. I'm still getting the tattoo because my tattoo has nothing to do with who he is as a real person. It has to do with the on stage and what the on stage and on screen and in my earbud Marilyn Manson did for me.
Yeah, what it meant to you.
Exactly. What that meant to me. So everyone else can fuck off.
We'll move past Marilyn Manson. So what's the best experience you've ever had at a concert?
The best? Well, Marilyn Manson. Yeah, that was it. But there's more others.
Okay, let me rephrase it. What's the best experience you've had at a concert that didn't involve the person performing or the band performing?
Oh, wait a minute. You're asking me the best experience about who wasn't performing?
The best experience you personally had at a concert that had nothing to do with the band performing.
Van's Warped Tour.
Right.
The punk rock tour that's been retired because punk rock is apparently dead.
Apparently.
But I remember that, like, when I was a kid, that was I think the second festival type concert I went to. I can't remember who was there. I think I had like guys like NoFX, Rancid, stuff like that were there at that time. And but it was awesome because it was the same thing as Edgefest. This one was like downtown Toronto. It was by the fucking the big lake. Yeah. But it was because it was a punk rock fest. It was really big into skateboarding, and they had a lot of riders going on. So I think they had freestyle motocross guys and a lot of like half pipes and skaters, like name skaters at the time, like riding around on the outskirts of the crowds while the bands were performing.
Oh man, that'd be epic.
It was great. I mean, my favorite part about that concert, it was like they were really strict about what you were wearing, because a lot of punk rockers wore some dangerous shit, right?
Yeah.
Like fucking big chains, you know, spike bracelets, spike collars. You could literally, if you get into a fight, you could wrap that spike collar around your fist and fucking put it through someone's face. So I remember after the concert, like when you go into the concert, they took some of my shit. I was like, what the fuck? They're like, just come get it when you're done. And they just put it into a fucking box. So I remember when I left, we left a little early, and I was looking at the box, and this spiked fucking, that's where I got my first spiked bracelet, my first spiked collar around my neck and shit. Cause I'm like, yo, he's like, hey, whatever you left, just take it. And I'm like, well, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. I took all your chains and shit. I robbed the shit out of that box. Oh, it was great.
Oh man. We'll flip it around. So what was the worst one?
The worst? I don't know, man. I just made a list of all the shit that was great for me.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a worst. Everything I went to was just awesome. I think the worst concert I ever went to, because I went to school for broadcasting. And through school, you had to volunteer with certain, like, you know, broadcasters. And that's how you get a job.
Yeah. My
buddy's like, hey, I got this gig at this festival down. I lived in Ottawa, Canada. You know, the capital of Canada.
Yeah.
That's where a shitty prime minister is. Hail Harper. No, not Harper. Hail Trudeau. Anyways, so I went to go do this job. I'm like, hey, I love concerts, you know? And it was part of what's called Blues Fest.
Right.
But it's not blues. It started out as blues, I guess, at some point, but it got broad. It's all like, I went there one time and there was Kiss was performing and all these rock bands. Like They call it Blues Fest because that's what originally started, but they cater to the crowd now. And it's a university town. So I remember I went to go do this job. And I got to tell you, I hate jazz.
Right.
I was sitting at the camera helping my buddy. And everyone's sitting there and they're playing jazz music, and everyone's sitting there with their eyes closed. They're tapping their foot on the floor and they're tapping their hand on their chair. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him like, listen, man, I don't care if I don't get a job with this company. I'm leaving right now. I can't do it. He's like, why? I'm like, I can't do it. And I had to leave. It was the worst. So a jazz concert, that was my worst.
Jesus. I wouldn't blame you. I would have been out the gate straight away.
Well, Ryan Gosling made me kind of like jazz, but I still don't like jazz. Oh,
right.
It's a very odd crowd. Like I need energy and screaming and mosh pits, and even if not, at least, you know, it's something exciting. I felt like I was at a meditation or something.
That's probably the best description of jazz I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's odd. Talented, but to me it's odd. So
yeah. Before we get to the last couple of questions then, top 3 concerts besides Manson, if you could relive them.
Yes, I got them right here. Limp Bizkit, early 2000s, in their prime.
Right.
You remember Fred Durst used to get to the point, I think he used to do it on Faith. And he would tell everyone, he's like, everyone from the back, everyone get to the front. Everyone come to the front. I was sucked for me because I was on the balcony, like right on the balcony of the arena. But I remember as soon as he said that, you just saw, you see all the security guards in front of the stage and they all just scattered. That was gone. And then you just see this wave of people, you could feel them. And then all of a sudden, at the front, they all just slam together, like, and then it goes off. Fucking nail. Oh, he went off.
Ultimate Limp Bizkit song.
Yeah, Faith. Yeesh. Man, you don't get artists like that anymore. Like, there's not one song today. Well, then again, if you watch like some rap music performances, I guess they get that kind of energy, but don't feel it to me. I don't feel that. Not like that. Not those kind of kicks.
Yeah.
That Redman, Method Man. Fuck yeah, they were a lot of fun.
Really?
Yeah. They opened for Eminem when I saw them.
Jesus.
Or no, sorry. I think they opened for Limp Bizkit. And then there was another time I saw Limp Bizkit that opened for Eminem. Anyways.
That must have been a good gig.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Eminem, man. Woo! AC/DC. Yep. Oh, yeah. Remember back in 2005 or whenever it was when SARS was going on?
Yeah.
Here in Toronto, SARS was minor, not like what we have today. But after SARS finished, Toronto threw a free concert called SARS Stock.
Jesus.
It was I forget what the opener bands were. Even Justin Timberlake fucking showed up.
Right.
Fun story about that, Justin Timberlake. It was a rock concert, right? So the two main performances were AC/DC and Rolling Stones.
Right.
And there was a few other big names. I can't remember. I'm not going to pull them up because I don't want to take up time. But SARS Stock in Toronto, you can look up the lineup to see. But Justin Timberlake somehow got on the lineup.
That's an odd
and me
one.
and my buddy, at the time, it was very odd because back then he wasn't as accepted in that community as he is today. Right. So me and my buddy are sitting there, and now we pushed to the front of the crowd. This was over 150,000 people, and it was bad. Trying to move forward in that crowd was bad because there was a lot of people that got there early, and if you stepped on their fucking little picnic fucking bench or something, or you step in front of them, they also start bitching at you like, "I've been here since 8 in the fucking morning. Get the fuck out of my!" And it's like, whoa, right? So, anyways, you get to a point where it's so crowded that no one was bitching at us. Okay, we'll stay here. My buddy's like, fuck, I got to take a piss. So he pisses in a water bottle.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they introduce Justin Timberlake. He says, Justin Timberlake? The fuck is he doing here? I'm like, I don't know, man, whatever. And he goes, fuck him. And he fucking puts the lid back on the water bottle. He goes, fuck you, Justin Timberlake. And he throws the bottle. Right. And this is when the screen was like on a mid shot on Justin Timberlake. And you see the fucking water bottle full of piss smoke Justin Timberlake in the face.
Oh, man.
And he goes, fuck. Next thing you know, and he goes, that's okay. I know I'm at a rock concert. Like 10 seconds later, the whole crowd starts launching their fucking lunch and everything at Justin Timberlake. He had to leave the stage. And it started because of my buddy threw his piss at him.
Oh, man.
Out of 150,000 people, my buddy was the one that threw the first launch.
I want to shake that man's hand.
That's funny. Yeah. And it was a cool concert because they were cheap tickets because the whole purpose was, they're probably going to do this after COVID, but SARS Stock the whole purpose was to get the city together and show that there's no more like an issue, like SARS is not an issue anymore, right? We're all together. And they put free tickets in 2-4s at the beer store.
Jesus.
So me and my buddies in the morning of the concert, as soon as the beer store opened, or no, the day before. Yeah, the day before we went, because we went early. We just went to the beer store and we ripped open the 2-4s and started taking all the tickets. We didn't even buy the 2-4.
Oh, man. Well, let's hope to do something like that.
But I remember, like, I didn't really listen to AC/DC at the time. Like, I did when I was a kid, but I guess I fell off. But what got me was they played. They should have closed for fucking the show, not fucking. Like, they were way better than Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones are good, but AC/DC, holy shit!
Yeah.
When they played Thunder, and you know the drum, do 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 do. I was like near the back of the field when they played that, and I could feel that fucking drum just boom, boom, like, and I was like, oh my god! Yeah, that got me all over AC/DC, and I've been a huge fan ever since.
Yeah, they're actually one of the best concerts I've ever been to myself. They're amazing live.
Oh, yeah. The way the crowd gets over them. Holy shit.
Yeah. They put on one hell of a show.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, there was, Rise Against. I'll make this one quick. But I saw Rise Against at the Blues Fest in Ottawa.
Right.
And they were calling for this massive storm. They even announced it. They said, listen, there's a storm coming, and if whoever wants to stay can stay, and Rise Against will perform, but if it gets too crazy, they got to stop. Anyway, I forget what song they were playing, but the singer, Tim McGrath, was going off, right? And I remember the storm came, and it was like a fucking tsunami. Like, he was literally like holding on, and his hair was like literally like on his side, just like waving, right? And he finished the fucking song, and I was like, yeah. And they went hard. And as soon as the song was done, they were like, okay, we got to stop. And luckily they did, because I think after they were done, the stage collapsed. Or no. Sorry, I didn't clap because they finished and everyone just this whole crowd like ants just ran. I don't know where the fuck they went, undercover somewhere, and I was under a tree. It's smart. And once the rain stopped, there was some band. I don't know. I think it was either the next day or the year after. But the stage collapsed at Blues Fest. At some point, I was there. It was fucking funny. But that right there, when that storm came and he didn't stop, and he was only halfway through the song, and that storm was bad. Like it was like I'm talking tsunami bad.
Jeez.
And he fucking stuck it out, and he finished that fucking song, and I'll never forget that.
That's dedication right there.
Tim McGrath from Rise Against. Oh, I mean that right there, that made me so wet, just super wet.
I'd say so. Jesus.
I'm not talking about the rain.
I know. Oh man. The last few then. If you could be locked in a room with any of the performers that you've seen in concert, who would it be?
The Pussycat Dolls. Yep, I've seen the Pussycat Dolls.
Right, okay. How did you end up seeing Pussycat Dolls?
I really like Christina Aguilera, and they were doing a concert with Christina Aguilera and the Pussycat Dolls. They were opening.
Okay.
So I called my buddy and said, "Hey, listen, man, I want to go see Christina Aguilera, and the Pussycat Dolls are there." I'm like, "Going to go?" He's like, "Yup."
Makes sense.
You want to hear a funny story about that?
Yeah, go on.
So the Pussycat Dolls opened for Christina Aguilera, and my buddy was on my left side. We were in our 20s, early 20s, and we snuck in. We fucking nutsacked a bunch like little Mickeys of whiskey, right? We're sitting there watching the Pussycat Dolls, and my buddy, he was a party animal. His name was Ant. He was a fucking big Italian guy. He was a fucking animal. And we're drinking, and he goes to these girls right next to us, and he goes, "Hey, you want a shot?" And then you look at him, and he goes, "I'm 12." And he looks at me, he goes, "Oh, and he just gets up and takes off, right? And then the mom goes, "What did he say to you?" And she's like, "He tried to give us liquor." And then she goes, the mom was like, "Who the fuck was that?" And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm with this guy, right? But the person next to me wasn't paying attention. I'm like, I'm with him. I don't know who that was. And mom's like, "Okay, whatever," right? And my, what's that? We were just on the opener, so I had to watch the rest of the Pussycat Dolls and Christina Aguilera by myself. My buddy wouldn't come back because we were like 23 or something and offered a fucking 12-year-old liquor. Fucking idiot. But like, I'm sorry. She was 12, but the way her hair was done and she was dressed and it was dark in the lights, she didn't really look 12, to be honest. Right?
Yeah.
Like, she was all dolled up. I'm not saying like I'm into 12-year-olds. I'm just saying like it was a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Houdini'd?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, Jesus.
she looked at least 8. Let's be honest, she looked 18. And when we were 23, if you looked 18, sure, we'll say hi. But then again, like, listen, from a side profile, actually, I remember this. I was looking, I was like, "Okay, she looks like 18." But like when she looks at you, I was like, "Yeah, now she looks 12." It was terrible, man. So bad. I remember even going to my buddy. I'm like, "Why don't you come back? I'll trade you seats." He's like, No. I'm like, "You don't have any liquor on you anymore. We drank it. It's gone." He's just, "No, fuck that." It's like the mom.
Oh, them moms can be scary.
Yeah. I didn't do anything. Whatever. I'm watching Christina Aguilera. That was great.
Oh, I'd say so. I love Christina Aguilera myself.
I've always loved her. Even when I was like a Marilyn Manson fan, I always hated. I'd never told anyone that I had a Christina Aguilera CD.
Really?
Yeah. And NSYNC. I saw them in concert too.
Really? And you're admitting to
I've
it?
seen. Oh, I don't give a fuck. I tell everyone I'll listen to anything. I got to a point in my life, especially in later in early high school, there was genres. You're either a punk rocker, a Gino, a Guido, a fucking a goth, whatever the fuck, right? You got to stick to it. But later in high school, people started relaxing, opening up. If you listen to rock, you listen to dance music. Well, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter anymore, right? So, and then I got to a point, right? I just, what I like. I'm sorry. Who gives a fuck? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen everyone. I've seen everyone in concert. I've seen I've seen G Unit, 50 Cent, from I Mother Earth, Red Hot Chili Peppers, AC/DC. I've even seen Tom Jones.
Tom Jones.
Yeah. I watched this old lady run up to the stage and throw her panties on the stage, and he wiped his sweat with it.
Oh.
You didn't know that? That's Tom Jones' his concert ever since, like, even back in the day.
Yeah.
Women would take their panties because Tom Jones has this problem of sweating profusely. He even had to take an intermission to take a shower and change his clothes, because halfway through the show, you could see it. It's just pouring sweat, this guy. So that's why girls would throw their panties on stage, so he could wipe the sweat off his eyes.
I kind of hoped that when he got old, the fans would stop doing it as well.
Nope, they still did it. I took my mom to go watch him. And I watched this little old lady. That's a lie. I watched a bunch of old ladies. I watched a bunch of them, one after the other, throughout the show. You know, even younger girls and stuff, mostly old ladies. And I remember this one old lady came there with a walker and threw her panties and then walked away with her walker. It was hilarious. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh.
Yeah, I've seen it all. I've seen, Eminem, Redman, Blink-182, Korn 6 times, Pearl Jam, NSYNC, Pussycat Dolls, Tom Jones. Fuck's sake. Seen them all.
There's not many you haven't seen.
There's a lot more. I just can't remember, actually. Like, sometimes they just pop in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I saw them too.
If there was one that you could see that isn't on your list, who would it be?
Twisted fucking Sister, man.
There's a reason you're wearing the t-shirt.
Hey, I met Dee Schneider downtown Toronto.
Really?
I had to cut a motherfucker off to meet him.
Now that's a story I have to hear.
Well, so Dee Schneider was doing a musical in Toronto back in 2015 2015 or 16. And I was down on near Union Station. And all of a sudden I'm driving with this chick. I was working for this advertising company. We're driving to this other company. And all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, Dee Schneider. She's like, who the fuck is Dee Schneider? I'm like, Twisted fucking Sister. She's like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, hold on. And I see this other guy going the opposite way, like the same way he's walking. And I heard him say the same. He goes, Dee Schneider. I'm like, fuck that. I cut off a cabbie. I cut that motherfucker off that was going after him too. Rolled down my window. I was like, yo, Dee Schneider, what's going on, man? And he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? How's it going? I was like, hey, look, let's take a picture. And he's like, oh, I'm with my wife. She doesn't like these things. We're going to lunch. I'm sorry, man. And I'm like, can I take a picture of you? And he goes, yeah. And he put his hands out. He goes, take one, man. And then, so I took a picture of him and he goes, all right, man, have a good day. See you later. Walked off. And it's on my Instagram if you scroll down a bunch.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I'd love to see. Actually, if you watch Cobra Kai, Dee Schneider performed in, I think, season 2.
Yeah.
Of Cobra Kai. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. That's so sick.
Yeah, it really was. It was the highlight of that season.
Yo, he still looks good for his age.
He actually does. He looks like he hasn't really aged that much. The hair has just changed a bit.
Dee motherfucking Schneider.
I always say I'd love to actually get him on the podcast. I
don't think that would be that hard these days.
That's what I thought. He'd be one of the more accessible ones, I think.
Actually, I did. If you can track down his agency, because I've done this with a couple of bands. There's this band around here called Sumo Psycho that I'm really into. And I found their agent out. They're here in Toronto, but their agency is in New York. And I emailed them and they said, okay, well, let me contact them. And they said they weren't, because they were releasing a new album, they weren't currently going to do podcasts. So yeah, I had to wait a couple months. I think they might have her agent listened to a little bit of mine, and she's like, nah, they're not doing that.
Right.
But she did communicate with me. But what I'm saying, it's not that hard to find. You just got to track down the agency that holds them.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I even contacted a porn star. Found their agent out in California.
Really?
Remy LaRue? Or LaRox, I think it's called. Her name is. I don't know. It's some French. I think it's LaRox. Remy LaRox. I was talking to her agent.
Did she decide to come on or no?
No, she said that was different. She said Remy won't do any podcast.
Oh,
like I don't think she wants that kind of publicity.
Yeah,
I did Google her a little bit. She doesn't look like she does any interviews online really, other than the only talk she'll do is actually in porn. but there's no actual like personal interviews online much, or I don't think at all.
Here's an idea. Why don't you email her, say you have an idea for a new type of porno? It's in the podcast format, and you'll interview her while you do her.
I'd have to pay for that. No, seriously, I would. Yeah. This shit won't be free. I don't even know what her fucking rate's gonna be, man. She's a top-notch porn star.
Be once in a lifetime opportunity, though.
I would. I'm not gonna lie, I would. if I would, like, you know what? If I was making money online, like enough that sustaining myself, whatever, that was my thing. Like I was like a Logan Paul or something. Fuck yeah, man! I'll go do porn. Who cares? I'll even do fucking OnlyFans. I was thinking about that. You ever see me with my Donald Trump mask? Actually, I shouldn't say this, but I'll say it anyways. I was thinking about like covering my tattoos and like doing put the Donald Trump mask on, and like, you know, fucking spanking the bank for people, and then talk like Donald Trump, be like, "Make America great again. You want me to play my dick? I do it for you. Okay, man, we'll make dicks great again." Right?
Yeah.
Keep paying me, I'll keep pulling. Right?
Oh man. That shit is too funny. Oh god. Oh fuck.
Oh fuck. I love how you say fuck. Oh fuck.
Oh, I always think it's mad when someone else says that they can really hear my Irish accent coming through, because obviously I can't hear it.
Oh, really hear the Irish accent coming through, right? Yeah, I can hear it full on, man. I knew it was Irish. I listened to your podcast a bit before we did this, and I heard that. I was like, is he Irish? Or is his guest Irish? I couldn't tell if you were the guest or the host. But I figured it out. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll give you two more before I go. Actually, three more really quickly. Yeah, you know the game that used to be signed to G Unit under 50 Cent?
Yeah.
So I got really drunk and got this great idea to climb up on the side of the speaker and jump on stage. The security guards really didn't like that, beat the hell out of me, broke my ankle, and then the game got his bodyguards to get the club security off of me, pulled me on stage, let me rap with him on stage, but I was really drunk, so I failed real miserably. Ended up letting me sit on a chair next to him while he finished the show with a broken ankle.
Jesus. And you waited until now to say that? Why?
I see you were asking other questions.
Good point.
I had it on my list. I mean, I did send you a picture of my list. Maybe you would. You wouldn't have saw the broken ankle part. I just put game jumped on stage. The club security beat the hell out of me, man.
Fuck.
Because like at first when I was on the stage, I hit the stage off the speaker, and the game was rapping, "This is how we do." You know that? Remember that track?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's doing the chorus and he's looking over at me and he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he goes, and then he just kind of threw the chorus. He goes, "Go white boy, go white boy." And then the crowd, and then all of a sudden security is like, "Get off the stage." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." And as soon as I got to the stage, it was really high up. They grabbed me by my pants and pulled me. And I just went straight down and fucking hit on my ankle, broke my ankle right down the middle. And they six of them started beating the shit out of me. And then he stopped the song, and he goes, go get him. And then it's like three big black guys come jump off, start throwing these fucking security off of me. And then they pick me up like a fucking girl in like some 90s romance movie. Like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." And they kind of toss me on stage. And then the game talks to me, and then the crowd booed me. And then the game told the crowd to fuck off. And he's like, "Yo, this is the first time a white dude has ever jumped on stage, man. Fuck off." Right? Anyways. And that was that. And also at the end of the concert, he had to get his security to walk me to the front door so I wouldn't get beat up on the way out. Well, my buddies were carrying me out.
Fuck.
Yeah, he goes, "Listen, I'm going to get two of my guys to go with you to outside to the car." So because those guys, like the security was looking at me like doing like all these like "You're fucked."
Oh,
you're
Jesus.
Fucked. As soon they're like, "You come down, you're fucked," right? And he saw that. He's like, I see there. He's like, I'll get my bodyguards to walk you out. So they had to escort me out of the club.
Oh,
so
man.
the house security wouldn't fucking wreck me after.
Jesus, that's.
I think even one of them, when I was on my way out, looks at me and goes, "Yo, you're lucky. The game likes you." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Fuck you." And I was like, "Get in the car. Get in the car."
Oh man.
I guess they were just really pissed off because they're supposed to like make sure no one gets on the stage. See, that's kind of bullshit. You remember we were talking about like back in the 90s?
Yeah.
How many people would get on the stage and all of a sudden run off the stage and do a crowd surf, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And even anyone, like it used to be like a common thing. No, me at this fucking club, I could have crowd surfed. The crowd was like thick enough, right? But instead, like they just looking at me like I fucking ruined their job, like they're not doing their job. It's like, dude, someone's gonna slip by you at some point.
Yeah.
Instead, it was fucked. But good experience.
Yeah, exactly. It gave you a good story.
I met the game. And here's a little tidbit. There's this girl that I know that was also at the concert. When I told her the story how I met the game, she goes, "Oh, I also met the game." And I go, "How?" And she goes, "Some guy came up to me and this other girl in the crowd goes, 'Want to meet the game?' And it was before the show." And she goes, "Okay." And they brought her backstage, and he was sitting there on a chair. And then his wang was hanging out. You want to guess what happened right there?
Yeah, I think I could guess. All right.
I asked her, I'm like, "How big was it?" She was like, "Big, like really big." See how easy it is for a rock star?
I was just
get your buddy to go to the crowd. You want to go meet him, and then you just sit there in a chair waiting with your fucking thing like this.
When is that going to happen for podcasters? That's what I want to know.
One day, my friend, we'll be rock stars.
Yes, exactly.
Get on Joe Rogan's level, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, the same to Jim Morrison. They can't record and get. Well, you could and hide it.
Yeah.
Actually, I could be doing it right now. You have no
idea. I thought there was a reason you were wearing a fur coat. All right.
There's so many things you can hide under a big jacket.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, there was that one. And oh yeah, here's a quick one. So the Red Hot Chili Peppers, there was a Young and Dundas in the 90s. I got dropped on my head on concrete and some 20-year-old tried to kick my ass.
Jesus.
I've had a lot of that. I mean, I went to go see I Mother Earth on a free concert downtown Toronto when I was in grade 8. And I remember I went crowd surfing and somehow I ended up standing up in the crowd and I pulled my ass out. A lot of people threw shit at my ass. They didn't appreciate that. And I'll leave you with this one. So I used to own a lot of vintage Marilyn Manson shirts. I had a lot.
Right.
Like, let's say anywhere, I think from like 20 to maybe 30. And I got this buddy I met him, I don't know, a few years ago, and he's really into buying vintage concert shirts or just band shirts, right? I used to buy from a store called Backstage Pass. And he was showing me his shirts, right? He's like, "Yeah, I bought this one for like $300 and this one for $400. I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean? Why did you buy them for so much money? He's like, "Oh, these are the ones from like 96, 97. Like these are the authentic ones, right?" Like I had that. I had that one. I had that one. He goes, "What are you serious? Like, where are they now?" I'm like, I don't know. And my family moved and maybe it got thrown into a donation box or something. Like, I didn't care. After I stopped, once I got into high school, I kind of packed up all my Manson t-shirts, toques, sweaters, everything into this big box. And I think my family gave it to the Value Village or donated or something, right?
Yeah.
And I went through, he's got this vintage website and I went through them. I had Manson shirts that were worth $600 today. $600 to $800.
Oh man!
There's one I think it's worth $11,000.
And you had it.
There's this one. It's got like 3 demons on it or something. It's worth thousands. I had it.
Oh man!
And put it this way: the average vintage Manson shirt, not including 9 Inch Nails and Korn and stuff, but let's say just Manson, averages anywhere from like $250 Canadian. Upwards of $600-$700, and then there's the odd one that goes over 1,000 or in the thousands, right? I had them all. All.
Oh, fuck.
In a box, in a cardboard box in my basement. No idea where it is.
Oh man, that'd be some sickener.
No idea.
Jesus.
Yep. I would have, if I had that box, I'm not going to lie, I would have sold them all. I would have kept one or two just for keepsake. I would have sold them.
I wouldn't blame you.
And I probably would have had maybe almost a down payment on a house or at least a decent car.
That's the sort of shit that'd keep you up at night.
Nah, that's okay. That was my fault.
Right, so the final question. If there was a song that would appear on the soundtrack to your life, I think we may have touched on it earlier on, what would it be?
Oh, God. I wish you gave me that question earlier. I actually have a lot of songs like that, but like I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Jesus Christ, Morty. Come on, Morty. Why do we got to do this to me? I got to pull up the song to my life. Like in what sense?
Say your life was a movie and you're walking off into the sunset. The credits are starting to roll. What song would play to sum up your life?
See, okay, now I'm gonna go at this of like on a sound perspective, because like to be honest, I don't really know the meanings to most of the songs I listen to.
Okay.
I just don't. I never paid attention to the lyrics much. I'd say this is a good one, but I'm going at this song for the sound. I have no idea what it means.
Right.
Okay, well, let's go with two of them. If you want to go with meaning, I'd go Swing Life Away from Rise Against.
Okay.
Or Injection by Rise Against.
Good choice.
Very good choice. Actually, if you want to, here's a fun fact. Rise Against is actually one of my favorite bands due to the fact that I like 85% of their songs off all their albums, which you do not get from much.
No, you actually don't.
I can just constantly listen to them and never get bored. Well, fucking hell, eh? What a podcast that was, huh? You fucking wank.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure. I really enjoyed that one.
I'm glad you did. That's the purpose of actually, I never said why I do my podcast, but that's it right there. I hope somebody gets something out of it just the way I did with music and everything else in life.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you did, why not reach out and let us know? You can find us on all social media, just search for Concerts That Made Us Podcast. And also, be sure to check out our website at www.concertsthatmadeus.com. That's the best place to stay up to date on everything that is Concerts That Made Us. Until next week, keep rocking.
Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show is over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here.